So, toxic masculinity. A hot potato at the minute, something people are all chatting about. And often when I'm a bit confused about things, I think about, again, what my granddad would say. God bless his soul, man of the 20s, 30s, farmer, old school, traditional, patriotic, saw the wars that we went through. And if I said to him, what do you think about toxic masculinity? He'd be like, toxic what? Like I don't think he'd comprehend what that meant. And at what point did we start teaching kids this, and why? What was the purpose? Where did it come from? And I really feel for boys at the minute because, you know, they have much higher suicide rates than girls. There's a lot of pressure and expectations and burdens put upon them. And in this modern woke world that we're living in, which in every sense and purposes to me brings negativity and division and weakness, I haven't seen anywhere where woke liberal policies have helped change things for the better. So boys are growing up listening about this nonsense, and it's actively telling them to fight their natural hunter testosterone instincts that for so long served men so well. You know, they understood their role in society, you know, the strong ones, protectors, as providers for the family. I know that brings burden and expectations, but men in those days took that on readily. You know, they were thick skin, can-do attitude. That's all linked in again, is, you know, kids are often taught so much about mental health and weakness and don't compete and all this kind of stuff. It doesn't really nurture a strong can-do, pick up yourself and carry on mentality. So kids are taught this. You've got the added bit of white supremacy for white British lads, making them feel even worse. Boys, you know, lower affluence boys, white boys are at the bottom of the education pile, and they get totally ignored. There's no help for them, no scholarships, nothing. They look around, they're seeing huge changes to their communities, massive immigration bringing all sorts of different challenges. They're seeing crime rates explode, and severe crime, you know, like knife crime, drugs, gangs, rape, scary crime. So that will then make them more anxious, more angry at what has become of their communities, how their government seemingly doing nothing about it. We've got two-tier policing, we've got two-tier justice system coming up. The country is failing massively. DEI means that there's not the same amount of jobs, opportunities, unless you tick certain boxes. Our economy's trashed, so there's no new businesses, no new jobs. There's not a lot of hope. Sorry, it's very windy. Don't know where it's come from. There's a lot for young people to feel angry about. They have less sport in schools where, you know, you can let some of that out on the field. You know, whether it's rugby or football, just getting rough and tumbling, get rid of some of that extra energy and frustrations, you know, in a natural way. State schools particularly are doing less and less sports. In every way, shape or form, they're being told they're bad. There's not a lot of hope. You can't afford to get on the housing ladder, etc, etc, etc. And they don't really have very many great role models. Like all the male role models, again, they're very woke these days, very political, all saying the kind of catchy, trendy, woke liberal ideology statements. You know, where are the strong men? Where are the masculine men? And then the governments like to put all the blame on people like Andrew Tate. And whatever you have to say about him, he's made a huge success of his life and come from, you know, very standard upbringing with a few problems to have to deal with. And he's actually made a huge success of himself. And whether there's some questionable stuff or not, he has also taught people constantly about self-respect and health and fitness and strength. And he's very much old school in the whole provider. He's very anti-benefits. He's all about making your wealth yourself, being the success you want to see, and grafting really hard. So those are all things that are very positive. As I say, the government would like to say it's all bad. It's not. And boys want that. It's why there's a huge influx of young men who are backing reform. Because when you hear reform speak, they're patriotic. My dog, sorry. They are uplifting. They believe in our country. They talk of hope and future. They make you feel good. And that is massively what boys are missing today. That kind of feel good and feeling good about themselves. We need to get rid of toxic masculinity altogether and just switch the rhetoric to positive masculinity and talking about it in a good way and how it's beneficial to family, friends, partners, society, country. We wouldn't really be here without masculinity since time began. So everything needs to switch from a negative, divisive rhetoric to a positive, uplifting, can-do rhetoric. One where we make kids feel great, feel proud to be a man, and then add that patriotism, add that economy that's doing well with hope and prosperity and ability to work, earn a living, feel good, and then see the benefits of that work with being able to afford a house and a car and a holiday, all mixed together. There is no toxic masculinity. There's just boys who are very lost and haven't got proper direction and are sick and tired of being stamped down and talked down. There is, however, some cultural situations that need to be talked about, but again, we're not allowed. That is a real subject that needs to be discussed, how certain cultures treat women. But in general, talking about this country, we need to start bigging up the boys.